Oh my god! It's a Twin Blades variant. There's a Maelstrom on the backside. Phantom's picking up more kills, finds Andrew as well as a triple. Oh, look at Tahaka. Finds the Avatar top lane 6. Great Ring of Frost connecting on the 4 members. We might have a comeback for the ages. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Will they be able to escape? ETC does fall. What a counter attack by ReGen Red, and he's gonna barely get away with his friggin' teleport ability. Holy shit! That was really spicy. Oh, hello there, Twitch. We got some ReGen action coming to you tonight. It's ReGen Blue up against the virtual Murky Slayers, a Division B West matchup here in Week 4. And joining me is gonna be Btrain once again. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Obviously, as always, gonna go ahead and plug myself as the most fun person on Nexus Edge this past week. If you missed the installment of episode 4 of this past Nexus Edge, you better go check it out literally right after this cast. It is on YouTube on the NGS channel.
Yeah, definitely check that out. I had opportunity to watch it before casting tonight. It was outstanding. The plays of the week were a lot of fun. I was featured in one, which is a lot of coolness for me. I like seeing my casting make it up there. But Mr. Btrain, a really fun episode, and I had a good time tuned in and getting to watch that one. So nice work.
Appreciate it. And obviously big shout outs to Turd for having me on. It was a lot of fun, and I think they feature new people every week. So if you ever want to be on Nexus Edge, I'm not saying I can get you in, but what I'm saying is you have to do something really crazy so that everybody notices you, and then they'll send you that fat invite.
Yeah, Btrain doing some crazy shit so far early in the season. Caledorn, I see you in chat. I see you. Sees you. You said go VMS. That's all right. That's all right. You can cheer for VMS. If you guys are here, Key, see he wants to root for ReGen Blue just so it's balanced. You guys root for whoever you want. I'm fine with it. Have fun. Obviously, I'm the founder of ReGen. ReGen Blue playing in this match. I'm probably going to be a bit wanting them to win. They have a really tough matchup, though. Virtual Murky Slayers. This is no slouch of a team. They're undefeated, 6-0 map record so far early in the season. And they're looking like an unstoppable force in Division B West, Btrain.
For all my old WoW players out there, unstoppable force meets unmovable object. Which one wins? As it looks like we're going to load into this first draft. But yeah, like you said, undefeated, looking fantastic. And I hope we have a 3-game series, and hopefully we can have an underdog story to tell here at the end of the night.
Well, maybe that's what's going to happen. I heard there might be some role swaps here for ReGen Blue. We'll find out if that's the case. But here we go. The map selection was theirs, and first to ban will be the virtual Murky Slayers. Nice long ban timer here to start it off, but anything in particular, Tomb of the Spider Queen, you like to ban out here, Btrain?
As far as bans, you have to think about wave clear. So, obviously Diablo and Anubrak, some of those tanks that get banned out quite often, but Johanna is one of those really solid tanks on this map. She controls the rotation. She has a lot of wave clear. She can step up and get those gems. So gem control and wave clear in your front lane, I think, are a big priority.
Does Medivh become an option here for anyone getting some of those portal engages? I've seen a few of these teams here in Division B running it. Thank you for those bits, by the way, or singular bit, Caledorn.
New follower
the heart
detected.
Bit. And thanks for the follow, Thorin P. Appreciate you guys stopping in tonight. Phoenix banned by VMS and Ana banned by RGB. Second ban here for Virtual Murky Slayers, but the Phoenix ban early, that's an interesting one, Btrain.
Yeah, I think Phoenix, I don't know, honestly. Like, he has decent wave clear, he has decent range, he has the switch mode on his weapons, but ultimately I don't think he just super excels in one area to deserve a first ban unless there's someone who is extremely talented on the hero. Big shout out to Tin in Division C West. That dude is a monster on Phoenix.
I've seen some really good Phoenix play. I saw some earlier today. Left through the ban phase is Zeratul, quickly selected by Virtual Murky Slayers. And a team that is undefeated on the season to show how quick they're ready to lock a Zeratul in. You gotta believe that that's exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, and Diablo got banned out by ReGen, and Zeratul, one of your big counters is someone who can disrupt your engage and stop it ultimately. And Diablo is one of those kind of meta picks that was always there that kind of deterred a lot of Zeratul plays. If you blink in and Diablo has that shadow charge, you're eating a wall bang, you're not getting your job done as Zera, and you're going to have to blink out.
Is this a mistake taking Kael'thas instead of Jaina? Now an option for the Zeratul team. They could have that Ring of Frost to pair at the Void Prison. 3 seconds to find out if that's what they're going. No. It's going to be ETC and Ragnaros selected.
So, yeah, like you said, you know, going into the Kael'thas instead of the Jaina, fearing that VP combo. But you know what else VP combo sets up really well? Mosh Pit. And even if we don't see Sulfuras out here, I feel like at this moment they still have a very decent enough amount of damage to follow up on a Mosh Pit.
Well, they're going to go ahead and get rid of the Jaina just in case that was going to be another pick here for Virtual Murky Slayers. Now our final bans on the clock with our red team. No support for either side yet, and the only one banned thus far is Ana. We'll see if they want to ban out another one here or just leave a few options for themselves, because ReGen Blue will be next to pick and likely going to take away their choice of support.
Yeah, Stukov a good ban. He has good counter engage with the swipe and the shove. Good interrupts for ETC, not letting him set up that mosh pit. And if we're looking on the other side, I think, you know, Anna's obviously just a strong hero. But you have a Kael'thas, you had a Johanna. Maybe their plan was to go in some kind of Alexstrasza. She does well on this map with the rotations. She can just control space with Dragon Queen and stuff like that. But, you know, not picking up the support still is obviously picking a clump healing support into a mosh pit or a VP could be terrible.
Trying to swing this around with the Malthael. Maybe find some quick picks in these fights with last rites. ETC, of course, can get a little bit of armor. Ragnaros has ways to get his own armor. Malfurion's the support, and this is actually interesting because it's going to add a bit more CC. They get the roots, and pairing it with the Hanzo's Dragon Arrow, now they have pieces on almost every single hero and a very formidable CC comp here.
Yeah, I really love their draft. I love how they rounded it out with the Malfurion and the Hanzo. Obviously, there's what appears to be a Malthael in the 4-man for ReGen, as they are going to pick up their support here, which is going to be that Lucio for that synergy with the Arthas. But for the draft for BMS, it's kind of unorthodox, as you have Zeratul, who can be played by your solo laner, and Ragnaros, who's not the beefiest hero, but he does hold the solo lane. They have lots of wave clear, lots of poke, and they have CC kind of all around.
Well, chat, the time has come for you to make a decision. Hashtag RGB or hashtag VMS. Make your vote in chat now on who you think is going to win game number 1. We might be getting our last look at a Lucio before his rework comes in next week. Did you get to read some of those patch notes and have any early thoughts on the hero?
High five?
High five, yeah. That looks like a... So for me, you see how much a Nubrak coming into the meta, I think high five an instant lock against that hero. Get to... Anytime there's single target CC, that high five is going to be so good. And you can even cleanse a cocoon if it's still traveling in the air. You get that cleanse off. That can swing fights easily on something that's a 15-second personal hero cooldown. Insane value for Lucio if that happens.
Yeah, that honestly is insane to think about, because we've seen some of the value in higher levels of game. People, you know, say if you're playing Garrosh and you have that Indomitable, people have had the ability to iframe with Li Ming or Phoenix or use Indomitable in a cleanse to dodge a cocoon. And if you're a team that has an Anubarak and your engage revolves around cocooning somebody so that you have the advantage, when that cocoon doesn't go where you think it's going to go, when you're all still going in because you think it's going to land, that fight 10 out of 10 goes badly for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, so he's going to become a playmaker. He gets his reverse amp actually in a level 7 talent. It's a little bit nerfed from what it was as a heroic, but it's still there. And he gets a brand new heroic, and I think it's going to see play. We got Recyc in chat right now. So Rek, if you have thoughts on Lucio, throw them in chat too. We'd love to hear from you. I do see some votes coming in though, and it's going to be one apiece. One for Virtual Murky Slayers, one for ReGen Blue. And We're finally loading in. I think someone might have dropped. We'll find out. We might have a pause here, but looks like the bar is just about done.
While we're still talking about some of those new changes, have you seen the new Chromie level 20 or level 18 talent that gives her entire team movement speed and cooldown reduction up to 30%?
That seems broken, and I did hear about it saying, why would anyone pick anything else? Like, it's so good that the rest of the talent tier is worthless.
Yeah,
but yeah, anything that's a bonus for your whole team, it's got to be an instant lock.
And it's global. It's not if she's near, it's if she is alive. That's the actual wording, if she is alive.
I mean, just, they've got to figure out a way to change that. I don't know. Well, I know, like, movement speed, it's not going to stack with other movement speed things. What else did you say they get? Some spell power?
No, 30% cooldown reduction for all abilities that are non-heroic.
Yeah, that's kind of broken.
Here we go. We're loading. The bar's moving.
Oh, it's moving for you, so maybe you were the one holding us. Btrain has left the game. It was you the whole time. Look at that.
You hate to see it.
Are you in, though?
It's loading. It's like super laggy, actually.
Okay, let me introduce these teams. Over on the left, we got ReGen Blue, Jason on Kael'thas, Steel playing Lucio, Larson on Arthas, Mongoose playing Johanna, and down in the solo lane, it'll be Malthael played by Grendel. They are ReGen Blue.
10 seconds.
And on the right, for VMS, Virtual Murky Slayers, we have Veggie on the Malfurion, a Brewer 2 on the Ragnaros, Swagnaros rocking the cow on ETC, we have Bagatron on the Hanzo, and Fake News Nate on the Zeratul.
Okay, I'm disappointed. Swagnaros doesn't play the Ragnaros? That's a fail fish. But anyway, here we are, level 1s on your screen. Meteor build for Rag. Serrated arrows from Hanzo, or excuse me, Simple Geometry rather. And level 1 Malthael, he's actually going to go with that Fear the Reaper. So it gives him a bit of a way to pass through an ETC body block. Early game though, it's just an exchange at mid. No kill is going to happen, but a lot of stacks for Hanzo and a lot of stacks for Ragnaros.
Arthas in the 4-man is going to be kind of a pain for this melee squad, as Mongo's taking a good bit of frontside damage. But yeah, with Ragnaros here in the 4-man and Zeratul in the bottom against the Malthael, 2 melee into this Arthas Johanna pair is going to be kind of tough.
Yeah, in this bottom lane matchup, if you were here earlier in the evening for the first half of this double header, I had this same solo lane, Malthael versus Zeratul. On a completely different map. We were Infernal Shrines for that one. Here, Tomb the Spider Queen. Maybe a bit easier for Zeratul to make that happen because he's not required to double soak like we saw on Shrines in our last game. But it's still a matchup that I think should favor Zeratul over the course of the game because his single target damage is going to be a little bit better. But if Malthael is able to sustain in those waves, like we saw in that other game, he's going to get the better half of it. There's going to be 10 gems turned in early by Larson, ReGen Blue on the board.
Yeah, and with Malthael in this team comp, and their real only solid like burst damage dealer is going to be that Kael'thas. I feel like they're going to have an issue trying to end some of these team fights in a timely manner, maybe say before a turnaround happens or different talents come out, as we are going to see the route from Arthas there. I feel like the Malthael is just not going to provide them with enough damage to get them to that last rites phase of someone's health bar.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of reliance on Kael'thas and really the tanks, because you go ahead and draft the Johanna and an Arthas means that you're giving up a little bit of potential damage in form to get in return some sustainability in these fights. But the combo, I mean, if it's there with the VP and the Mosh Pit, I don't know what exactly ReGen Blue could even think about doing to negate the damage that's going to come out on top of them.
Yeah, especially if Lucio gets caught out and unable to get that sound barrier off. So we're going to see lots of damage coming out onto Swagnaros with 15 gems. Already used the power slide, comes off cooldown. Maybe he still had it, but does die at the gate. Lucio pays with his life. And Fake News Nate coming in with the Singularity Spike fade away. And that might not be it, as Larson is running for his life.
Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe hitting that fade right there.
It was such a good play by Steel. He's playing our Lucio here tonight. He chased down the kill on ETC, But he found themselves underneath the towers, took a few of those shots, and then the finishing meteor from a brew or two on his Ragnaros finished the deal on Lucio. And then getting in there with the Zeratul, great job. And actually killing down bottom. Fake news Nate getting even more action and stealing away a camp from Malfield.
Yeah, they've sent 2 down before, as we are going to see the root coming out from the Malfurion onto Larson. Gonna get out. No Icebound Fortitude yet, but we do see him going into that auto attack speed, so maybe looking to have that kind of that Twin Blades effect, just being up in your face, having lots of sustainability. But as far as the matchup bottom lane, Grendel got out once from a really well-coordinated gank attempt, and that time wasn't able to win that 1v1 versus Zera, and does lose the camp at 15 gems for it.
And with that will be our first turn into the game. 4 minutes in, and it belongs to Virtual Murky Slayers. Remember, they sit atop the division standings right now, a undefeated map record 6-0, and they're off to an early start up against ReGen Blue. They're up 3-1 in kills, 7-6 in XP, so the talent tier is here for them. Those talents on your screen right now as they're pushing forward with these web weavers.
And we're actually going to get the Tenacious Roots from Malfurion. A level 7 I don't see too often. It increases the duration of root, and when Malfurion is stunned, which Johanna's Condemn is a mini stun, and every time it pulls it is a mini stun, it will reset the cooldown of Tenacious, or of Entangling Roots, as we're going to see the big power slide in the face mount. Actually anti-synergy, but they still get the kill onto Lucio, and with that kill, this actually is going to get a lot of value with this push now.
Yeah, this thing's still pushing with Lucio dead. The supporting is not here either, so Jason having to use a well tap to stay in here. Finally, that Webweaver is destroyed, but Virtual Murky Slayers are not leaving the lane quite yet. They get some more value onto the towers, and at mid, you see this Webweaver was pushing that whole time. It's finally going to go down, but it got a lot of damage done on that mid fort, and this is an early structural advantage for Virtual Murky Slayers.
Yeah, early Webweaver turn-ins are always kind of a catch-22. On the first point, you do gain map control, but they're not super strong yet, so you really have to usher them in there. But they were able to get pretty much every wall down, and they got a very considerable amount of damage on that mid lane fort.
So VMS actually not going to worry about defending, opting to grab their Bruiser camp, so that will help push against the Webweavers that were just called in by ReGen Blue, but they had to make a move. Level 10 is getting so close for VMS. They need to find structures of their own and get this XP to get them caught up, because they're behind that about a full level right now. And if they want any shot in the mid game, they need to stay right in line with the XP that Virtual Murky Slayers have.
I actually extremely love that play, giving up that turn-in right there, not having like a counter snowball against you, just getting your Bruiser camp, especially with a Ragnaros, a Hanzo, and a Zeratul, you know you have the ability to clear this, and now with level 10 advantage, they get to clear it almost for free, so, you know, it's somewhat a victory for VMS, looking at basically saying, hey, we just got 50 gems off the board, and it did practically nothing. And
let's keep an eye if VMS wants to come down to this bottom lane where ReGen Blue's pushing on this fort wall. Here comes Zeratul. He actually gets exposed there by a shield there of Johanna. So he's not able to walk in with that VP. Let's look at some of these heroics. So Dragon's Arrow. Sulfuris smashes the play from Ragnaros. Not opting for the Lava Wave here on this map. Wants to get that CC, and I think a conflict they have right now is the perfect spot to pull it out.
Yeah, we see Dragon Arrow, Mosh Pit, Twilight, and the Sulfuris Smash. One VP that collects maybe 2 or 3 members, and I don't see any way that if these abilities are timed correctly, nobody makes it out.
Defense not here again from ReGen Blue, so gems will be cashed in, and it is enough. Virtual Murky Slayers with their second turn into the game. Here's a VP down bottom. Fake news. Nate looking for it. Sulfuris Smash. Hits 2. Jason very low. Gets some shielding and splits that Dragon's Arrow, but falls on the backside anyway to the Singularity Spike. Fake news. Nate looking for more and finds it. Malfield has been killed. A 2 for nothing in favor of VMS, and these Webweavers were just called down, Btrain.
We got a double dip in the NA special of whipping 2 of the 4 ults, but guess what? They still secured 2 kills, and when just think how bad that ends up for an entire team if they land the whole combo. You know, Mosh and Arrow weren't even needed there to secure that, and they, the members of ReGen Blue were actually right at the edge of their fort and the range that it would shoot. So you got to think nowhere is safe for ReGen Blue.
Yeah, Jason did a great job with his shield, but still died anyway in that fight. What a Twilight Dream there by Malfurion. There is enough room, though, for the barrier. Osteel able to escort his tanks back by this fort, but continuing to push with a Web Weaver, a Virtual Murky Slayer.
Yeah, we're going to see Osteel get a little bit low as Larson is on the wrong side, going to get hit by the power slide. No Icebound Fortitude pop yet as he did go into the rune tap. Bless Shield is going to come out completely whipped as Arctis does fall. Ragnaros takes over the fort. The raid boss, a brew or two, dropping a meteor or 10. Dragon's Arrow on the gate, hitting Lucio from half a screen away. Excuse me. Wow, that was a fantastic arrow. Sulfuras comes through and Jason barely able to sidestep that.
Okay, a Brewer 2, that might have been the best usage of a Molten Core I've seen in a while. That got tremendous value. Stunning 2 with that initial Q. Got some more damage on the backside as heroes were retreating. And now with the 2-level lead and this talent tier at 13, Virtual Murky Slayers trying to grab a boss, but ReGen Blue, they're nearby and might try to make a play here.
Ragnaros, the defensive hero by looks, as Zeratul is going to get the zone, and the root comes out pretty on target, and this boss is at about 20% health, and it looks like they're willing to actually let it fully reset without their combo, and, you know, not maybe aware of the cooldowns of the other team. They actually decide to completely just let the boss go.
Yeah, I appreciate the patience, maybe not willing to give away too much. They know they're ahead in this game, and they haven't had much of a threat, so they're just trying to play their own game on their own terms. And right there, giving up opportunity on that boss, they make the patient play. We'll see if it pays off.
Yeah, that's, I think, the ultimate thing that tells how much trust a team has and how much, you know, comfortability they have with each other. The ability to think, we have such an advantage right now in, you know, the map control. We have the talent advantage, or they didn't have one yet, excuse me. But they had everything, you know, the momentum seemingly in their favor. And they, with the boss almost down, were just completely willing to back off as Grendel out a little bit far here. Zeratul coming in. This could be trouble.
Oh, down bottom. Grendel will probably fall here to Zeratul. No health left, and he dies. And by my count, that looks like 14 gems will be dropped as well. And that means ReGen Blue, not enough to get this cash in, and so close right now are Virtual Murky Slayers as the barrier has to be popped. Twilight Dream went out as well, but Mongoose should be able to get back. No, the VP's there. The Dragon Arrow misses, but Sulfuras smashes Jason. He pops his shield. He's going to be safe, and the disengage ends up being successful by ReGen Blue.
A little bit of a miscommunication with the Dragon's Arrow. ETC not in position to get that follow-up mosh pit. But yeah, the Twilight Dream was countered magnificently by Osteel with that break it down. And seeing those cooldowns trade at pretty much every fight so far, that's kind of that 1v1 inter-game matchup that we see with the support players here.
The gems are being turned in, but all 9 on hand also need to make their way. So Ragnaros was 6. Begatron on Hanzo holding the final 3. We'll see if he wants to start heading towards one of these points. And it looks like Hanzo will start looking down bottom. No one from ReGen Blue nearby, so this should be the 3rd turn-in for Virtual Murky Slayers.
Grendel doing a good job spotting out Zeratul, sitting in the lane trying to get that complete invisibility as the turn-in comes through. 15.5 to almost 14. If VMS gets 16 through this push, I could see them possibly taking a keep if they play their cards right.
16 very close for VMS. They might find it up top during that push. Hanzo remaining around mid. And I don't think they know where ReGen Blue's at. They should see it now, actually, because we do have this Web Weaver down bottom that's being killed. But it's up top, a fort down quickly. Ragnaros pushing forward with this team, and this Web Weaver is very healthy.
Yeah, looking to get that clear onto bottom first. The issue with that is that you've opened up this top lane for an entirely healthy Web Weaver, and they got the wall down with no contest, so they still have most of their abilities, 16 advantage, and a healthy Web Weaver. You know, their push is looking very, you know, good so far.
Hanzo's still hiding. He's actually working on this little sidewall to make his way through into the base, holding onto that Dragon's Arrow. We'll see what the first action is. It might be this VP because there's a lot of heroes stacked right now for ReGen Blue.
Yeah, Hanzo staying at a very safe distance to try to get that long distance arrow. It has like 3 phases where it increases the damage and the stun timer as they are going to get the Molten Core. Blood Shield does come out onto the backline. Molten Core is on a short CD. Zeratul goes in the back. It's the 2-man VP, 3-man as Arctis walks into it. So Furious Smash is going to come up. They're going to put the root down, get the Dragon Arrow, the Twilight Dream, and the Mosh Pit coming out, deleting 3 people, getting a 4th. Johanna falls, and I think this is going to be game.
That was the best execution of the combo yet, and they found it at the final moment of map number 1. That's going to be it here on Tomb of the Spider Queen as virtual Murky Slayers slay ReGen Blue 13-1 on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Fantastic combo. Their comp worked well. Their synergy was there. And we saw it. That last one was cash money.
I do want to say, during that match, thank you so much for the subscription grievance coming through. Really appreciate that, my man. Let's walk this in, however, to the match summary brought to you by Nexus Gaming Series. And yeah, that was just stunning play, beautifully done by virtual Murky Slayers. Almost flawless, except for the one death on ETC.
Yeah, and depending on how this goes, I would like to know if the ideal for the Ragnaros was meatball build, or if you were looking to get that kind of bruiser-esque feel with his Q build. If it was meant to be that bruiser build, good adaptation against the Arthas and the Johanna, going into that ranged, almost like a spellcaster build for Ragnaros, and fantastic, especially with the synergy, the VP, everything was there, and they did a great job. And I feel like pretty much through that entire game, they just held the driver's seat, especially with such an odd comp.
Yeah, ReGen Blue never finding a way to stun out the Zeratul during Void Prison, and it got value, especially that last fight. The Sulfurous Smash was there on numerous occasions. The shielding from Kael'thas was enough to save him a couple times. The barrier also a couple times came in and saved the day. But that last one was all they needed to seal it up. Game number 1, virtual Murky Slayers. We'll be back in just a few minutes with game number 2. You don't want to miss this one. And we're back. Once again, I'm Murda, joined by Btrain, ReGen Blue, and Virtual Murky Slayers, about to head into game number 2. What a solid battle there. Virtual Murky Slayers pretty dominant over on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Yeah, no Murky for ReGen, but Virtual Murky Slayers pretty much slayed everyone that game. They one kill to 13, I believe, was the final, and they looked great. But ReGen had a good comp. I think their draft got a little awkward, maybe something they were trying new, or maybe a little bit of a misclick. But either way, a great response from VMS. And Towers of Doom is one of those maps where the early game is important to a extent, but there's a lot of late game comeback potential. So if ReGen can stick it out into this late game, I feel like, you know, if they win a couple fights, they take a couple things off of VMS here in the late game, they could turn this entire map around.
I think the one match I casted ReGen Blue, oh, here it is. They played Towers of Doom against Logical Decision and were able to win it. So this is a map they've had some of their success this season on this map. So if they're going to make it happen, maybe this is where it does. This was the map selection from Virtual Murky Slayers, so our first team to pick is going to be ReGen Blue. Does that alter anything in this draft, in your opinion?
I think if ReGen Blue has shown their ability to play this map before, and now they have first pick, I feel like, sure, VMS took them here. They obviously have a level of comfortability on it as well. But if you're ReGen and you've played this map before and you have maybe a strategy or a plan or something against it, and if it's not banned, you don't fear the map so much. You know, first pick only helps you that much more. Sure, you're not as reactive, but you get those power picks.
Absolutely. Just waiting on one more ready from our blue team, and there it is. So we're going to be counting into game number 2. And ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be Towers of Doom, a map that is amongst the favorites of a lot of players and is most notable for how long and down to the wire it can come in the late game.
Yeah, and we saw back in the day a lot of the prowess for this map. Its overall way it's played has changed so many times, or not changed, but there's been so many different strategies. Some teams pick, you know, the Abathur Samuro comps, and they run around and they just snipe the forts and the keeps, and they just try to have ultimate map control. And then other teams look to just absolutely dominate team fights and worry about macro after when they're the only 5 people left on the board. So we'll see what these teams like to go for as we see a Zagara ban coming out.
I don't know about the Zagara ban or where it's coming from. Maybe some scouting there, but Ana, a hero we've seen a lot of bans on, and there is the respect ban everyone was waiting for. Kelladorn in chat said it was incoming, and sure enough it was. Final ban in the top half, it's going to be Phoenix.
Yeah, and we saw the Phoenix ban come through in the first game from VMS, so maybe doing a little bit of scouting. I feel like Zagara is not one of those heroes I think of instantly, but we see the Abathur.
I don't know if I've seen ReGen Blue play the Slug all season. Grendel going to pick up the hero, and that's definitely a wild card. Could be exactly what ReGen Blue needs, or it could just be a bit more of nothing to add to what happened in game number 1. First 2 picks, Virtual Murky Slayers Diablo is the first one. And they're going to go ahead and pair that up with Malthael.
I actually love the Malthael pick here. Already locking in a hero who can double soak lanes, which if anyone watched my game earlier, we got absolutely destroyed by a double soaking Malthael. We couldn't keep up with it. And now if you have an Abathur, Abathur can't double soak lanes as effectively. Like, he can body soak the one, but if you're forcing his hat into another lane to collect the soak, then he's unable to have his team in the fights, which means all the fights are going to be even 4v4, and you really lose a lot of that that extra presence that the Abathur can give you on demand.
So next up, we see the Arthas, going to be played by Mongoose this time, switching hands over from Larson, who was on it earlier. Ostiel getting on Stukov, one of his favorite supports, so maybe that's going to be a difference maker here for ReGen Blue, as Stukov was banned out by Virtual Murky Slayers in the second half of game 1. Here we see them banning out the Anubarak, which is still on the board.
Yeah, and if we want to talk about some old synergies for all my Dusty Hots players out there, Abathur cloning Arthas is absolutely bonkers in team fights. And we saw Arthas kind of was that counter for a little bit to the new Diablo. Pretty much just once Diablo goes in, he can't get out. And if we see an Abathur hatted Arthas or even 2 Arthas, you know, if Malthael last writes one of your Arthuses, you at least have another one.
Thanks for stopping in, Woe No Hots. I got to check out Nexus Edge, of course, my co-caster tonight, Btrain, on that episode. You guys did a fantastic job, so keep up the good work, bringing that to us with Ziltoid and Turd Herder and the rest of the team. Here we see the Ragnaros for the second game in a row, and E-Bagatron back on Malfurion, so a couple familiar faces here, Btrain.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Ragnaros, this is, again, another map. I feel like this map shares kind of a Infernal Shrines-esque feel. I don't think we'll see a lot of aggressive Rag forts this game. I feel like they'll all be defensive purely like around that bottom or that top safe side spawn for the shrines. Ragnaros has such incredible range and poke and delay potential with that. You can really wait for your team to set up. So kind of I want to see how they use it, but it could actually be a real nuisance for an Abathur comp.
ReGen Blue gonna round it out with a Rainer and a Thrall, adding some assassins to go with their frontline Arthas. So now talking about that clone, they might end up just needing another tank, because without it, it's the Arthas and the Thrall on the front line, and Thrall, not one who really likes taking a lot of damage, would rather be dealing it himself. Final hero selected for Fake News Nate. It will be Vala. So now we got to go back into chat, ask you guys to look at these drafts and decide game number 2. Who's it going to be? Hashtag RGB or hashtag VMS to make your game 2 selections. If game 1 has anything to do with it, VMS looks unstoppable, Btrain.
Yeah, they look fantastic. They had such a great setup potential with the VP. This game, though, is a little bit different. They don't have that point-and-click button that says, hey, dump all of your ults here. So I want to see how they coordinate that. The Vala pick is something I'm kind of concerned about. Vala out of the meta after the double support era ended. And Thrall is, you know, he's not a tank, but he's definitely one of those beefy melee assassins. And if he kind of hits that fatty flank and lands a wolf onto a Vala who's unsuspecting, he will absolutely delete her.
Yeah, Vala's not going to have a ton of supporting, just the Malfurion. No hyper support here in this one. So, we actually are going to have a pause. So we'll take a quick break here before we get back into the action. I'll send us back to our webcam scene here. But anything else in this matchup? Is the Vala enough with the Malthael to combo for this damage, or is there something else that they're gonna have to figure out?
So I want to see. I think a lot of it depends on the build. I feel like pure auto attack build might not be enough from Vala here. Without that double support, I don't think she has the ability to just kind of stand up there and just shed damage down. I feel like it's going to have to be kind of that multi-shot frost shot build that we've seen in the past. But with that, especially coming online at 13, that build controls melee heroes that don't have hard engage, like Arthas, extremely well. And I feel like with a Diablo up there to play the role of bouncer and kind of keep everybody off, Vala could still succeed extremely well, as long as Fake News Nate can juke and jive a couple of wolves.
I mean, yeah, with how Fake News Nate played in game number 1 on Zeratul, I'm expecting some flashy plays out of another really impact assassin. This time it's Vala, but a completely different hero, a completely different style. And, you know, Vala is one of those heroes that when she gets caught, like, you're in trouble most of the time. You don't have a blink out like Zeratul has, and you got to rely on just your vault. So if Vala gets locked in, what can virtual Murky Slayers do to save her? All they have is this Malfurion. His healing's too slow. So I see the Vala and, quite frankly, the Malthael too as pretty risky picks with the support choice.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to positioning and their ability to end fights quickly. And yeah, like you said, Malfurion has that slow healing, and for anyone who's not quite familiar with the Malfurion rework, it's obviously quite dated. It's probably a year old or older. His Moonfire does give you instant healing, but he's not extremely good against actual burst. Like, we're talking the levels of burst that blow through health bars. Malfurion doesn't have that just save button. So we'll see how they can kind of play around that. Maybe Nature's Cure at level 7 can play a big part in the saving Vala and Malthael department.
All right, so I think we're getting our players back here into the game Current pauses from ReGen Blue. They're waiting on. I think someone had a little family situation going on behind them. Btrain with the observer notes here. So yeah, we should be back in our game shortly. But game 1, if you missed it, Virtual Murky Slayers 13-1 was the kill count. And I think ended with a 3-level lead by the end over on Tomb of the Spider Queen. They got 3 turn-ins. ReGen Blue with just 1 turn-in. And here we are, Towers of Doom with our second map. I don't know if things are going to change, but ReGen Blue, they got to play early to just get the confidence back. But having an Abathur, is that going to slow them down? That's what I'm going to have my eyes on here in game number 2.
Yeah, I think the Abathur comps are weird. You have power plays where you can use the Abathur hat as like a global hero presence, to where you can turn a lane from a 1v2 to a 3v, a 1v3 or just a 1v1 into a 2v1, and you can get your advantage there. But Abathur really doesn't provide your team with a whole lot of sustained presence until level 10, and you get that ultimate evolution.
Looks like they went ahead and started our game, so here we are in game number 2, and over on the left-hand side in the blue, we got Osteel playing the Stukov, Jason on Raynor, Mongoose playing Arthas, Larson playing Thrall, and last but not least, on Abathur, it'll be Grendel. They are ReGen Blue.
The battle begins in
and on the right,
seconds.
For VMS, the Virtual Murky Slayers. No Murky in this game. We got Veggies on the Dibbles. Ebagatron on the Malfurion in this game. Swagnaros on Malthiel. Brewer 2 on actual Ragnaros. And Fake News Nate on the Valalalala.
Was there a role swap, or Ebag was playing Malfurion game 1 too? I don't remember.
Ebag? I think Ebag was the Hanzo.
Oh, you're right. So who was our Malfurion player? Was it Veggies? Was Veggies our tank in game 1? I'm completely lost.
No. I think Veggie and Ebag swapped.
Okay.
I don't know. I honestly could be crazy.
Well, if
no,
you're
Swagnaros
a fan of VMS, let us know in chat.
So Swagnaros was on the Diablo. A Brewer 2 was on the Ragnaros. Ebag was on the Hanzo. And so Veggies was healing?
Interesting.
We got it. We figured it out.
Okay. Checking out the bottom lane, though, and it's going to favor this Vala. You see her fully stacked on her Hatred, and she's just ripping through this. And no one from ReGen Blue really stepped into the wave just because they're a little bit scared that Fake News is going to get on top of them. Jason not scared, though. You see him trying to press forward out of this fort wall. But ultimately, it's just going to be a little bit of damage onto a turret and nothing more.
Lots of right-click heroes as we are going to see the Arthas root coming out from the Mongoose. The Stukov silence with the slow from Arthas on Brewer 2. Going to drop the meatball and get out of dodge as we see the camp pick up from VMS. And, looking to put a lot of pressure on that bottom lane.
Yeah, also want to note up top, I see Swagnaros moving some health bars around with his Malthiel. Trying to be a pest here. And Thrall holding his own. Larson staying back by his wall, playing a little bit safer as we see an invade potentially happening down bottom. Diablo and Ragnaros nearby. But Thrall doing a decent job keeping Malthiel at range, and that's really the way he's got to win that matchup. But here comes Mongoose, maybe with the Howling Blast? No. Turned and looked for Malfurion and completely whiffed. So no exchange of health bars there.
Bag with that sweet sidestep, and we're going to see the engage out onto Mongoose. Is going to have the hat, going to get wallbanged, going to get the root out, and make it home safely. Grendel's sitting in that mid lane, soaking up that XP, keeping the hat on his buddies to keep them all alive.
The XP lead without any kills is, what do we say, a third of a level or so in favor of the Virtual Murky Slayers. They're winning just on Wave Soak alone at this point. And that Sapper camp they were able to pick up. They're pushing this bottom lane effectively. You see them now working on the second tower. And, oh wow, what a flip by Diablo. That's going to be a kill on Stukov. And that's 17 seconds before our triple altar phase. So huge advantage here for Virtual Murky Slayers.
Yeah, they already got this wall. They got some early game pressure. We saw Mongoose with the Abathur hat actually forced out of mid lane by a Brewer 2 on that Ragnaros. And this looks like a 2-for-1 altar trade in the advantage of Virtual Murky Slayers.
Yeah, up top's going to be taken by Malthiel. Down bottom taken by Diablo. So 2 different altars firing for the Murky Slayers, and that gives them a 4-shot lead. As you know, early on towers, not too often you see any structures down, but if Fake News Nate has anything to say with it, this keep's going to be down in the next couple minutes.
And just like I thought, we're going to get that multi-shot build from Vala going into punishment at 4 as the start of the build. And yeah, that build's going to be tough for the fighting, or to fight into for ReGen.
Oh, up top, Larson with a hat going to finish off Malfield. Thrall getting the first exchange there, and the first kill on the board for ReGen Blue, now tied up at 1 apiece between these 2 squads. Level 7 is here for Virtual Murky Slayers, and the Arsenal build coming out from Vala, continuing the multi-shots. Here's Fake News Nate getting some value, gonna get a kill on Mongoose, or will he? Bio kill switch is barely enough. Mongoose with 26 health, and he's skirting his way back to safety. Arthas will live to see another day.
Yeah, Vala not able to get the damage, so it's Fake News Nate can eat some tower shots, and we see Nature's Cure from Malfurion getting that slow removal from that keep shot there, that fort shot. But yeah, Arthas hit the brakes with that root and was able to actually save his own life. Lots of self-healing coming out, as well as the heals from Stukov was just enough to get Mongoose to safety.
Mule's on this bottom fort and is getting a lot of value, but still trying to push forward, and they might be successful. Virtual Murky Slayer's root's not going to hit on Arthas. Mongoose lives to see another engage here, and he's going to throw the Howling Blast out, but they don't have damage here. They just don't. Thrall's had to stay top. Afther's not level 10 yet. They're relying on just the Rainer, and without his Hyperion, they don't have much of a defense opportunity here in the bottom lane. They can't push past Diablo, so it's a free channel right now for Vala. 4 more shots heading at the core of ReGen Blue.
Without a lot of mobility on any of their heroes to make a hasty engage, or to, like, you know, like a Nubrak just blows under a front line with the burrow charge, they can't really get in to even contest these points, as their engages are going to be kind of telegraphed and easy for Veggies and E-Bag to really put a halt to with the charges and the roots.
So word in chat, Swag was on ETC, Veggies was on Mel, E-Bag, Hanzo, we got that right. So a triple rotation of heroes, and so far they have themselves a lead, but it's 1-1 in kills, and ReGen Blue looking a little bit better than they did in game number 1, but still a little bit to go in terms of matching their opponents here, I feel.
For everybody keeping track of the important stats at home, if you're watching the VOD a brew or 2 later, I saw your spray mid when Thrall tried to gank you. I put that in the books. You got to spray down. You're ahead in the spray game for this match.
Engage potentially happening down bottom. Diablo gets rooted there, so Veg is going to have to slow down his potential engage, as level 10s are here for Virtual Murky Slayers. Last rites, Twilight Dream, Sulfurous Smash for the second game. Lightning Breath changed from the APOC, and it's going to be the Rain of Vengeance, of course, from Vala. So plenty of CC, not really needing the APOC. I like the Lightning Breath because it's going to give them an option to kill now.
Yeah, and Lightning Breath also provides a very substantial slow, allowing the CC from Vala and the Ragnaros. As Mongoose going to pop that Icebound Fortitude. Silence comes out for the zone, going to pop the Lightning Breath, holding his ground as Diablo's taking basically 0 damage. The big double root coming out, the Nature's Cure going to come, but the second root from the clone Arthas as Twilight Dream hits 4, and the Sulfurous Smash, the leading meatball build coming down. It's spaghetti for dinner, boys and girls. The big Sunder from Larson flanking on the wrong side, as Vala is going to finish off the Stukov. Malfurion does fall, but Larson could also lose his life as the minion wave is here, and Fake News Nate's stepping up, going to get the turnaround as Fake News Nate getting out 40 HP. And they did that entire fight 5v4 essentially, with Malfurion not even there. Or not
yeah,
Malfurion, Malthael.
But it ends up being a 4v4 because did we see a clone? I guess we did, but
yes.
Like, what did it end up doing? Not too much. So it ends up being a bell tower exchange and 5 shots thrown at ReGen Blue, so it ends to be a 17-shot lead for Virtual Murky Slayers.
Feels bad for Malthael. Nobody decided to hold any of those kills, so we still see 0 stacks on last rites.
Yeah, but, you know, Swagnero's feeling super swaggy up top. He did die earlier, one of the 2 deaths here. You see a fight happening down bottom. Larson trying to get in there. No Sunder yet for 10 seconds. Trying to back up, getting some good supporting from Stukov. But that's Ragnaros, Molten Core, and he's trying to rain down some Hellfire from the ceiling. No one's fallen yet. And I don't think they're going to get anyone with it, as ReGen Blue, they kited back into this kill area, and no one from Virtual Murky Slayers ready to push in and try to find anything.
Yeah, and we saw the Arthas root into the Thrall Wolf and the Stukov silence. They had all the CC they could have wanted, but weren't able to kill Fake News and Nate. Actually lacking a little bit of damage there. I don't know if Rainer was there, but Ragnar's able to use that offensive fort to control space, and they still have control of this bottom lane, which is the big one, as we see the root coming down onto Veggies.
Big cleanse too. They're getting the silence in a good spot.
Stukov gonna drop the swipe to get the disengage, and Mongoose still chasing a little bit deeper in the tower, gonna get the root onto Fake News. Sulfurous Smash gonna come out zoning, calls a Brewer 2. Mongoose had about 200 health as we see Steel fall on the Stukov. A Brewer 2 is relentless with these meatballs.
Yeah, the turnaround, and now the roots on Rainer, and Jason is sent to oblivion. Just, like, dedication to trusting your teammates in these fights, that the CC is going to be there. You see how much value Ragnaros can get. And let's not forget, Fake News Nate, how low he was and never fell. What a sneaky little pickup here by Abathur, but not going to get it. And that's a dead slug, because Malthiel's not going to let Grendel go. Unfortunate for him. Last Rites finally gets a stack. And Fake News Nate, he's surviving again. And this is 5 more shots now to send at ReGen Blue. They're at 7 core health, and now this is looking like almost game for Virtual Murky Slayers.
I don't know if I've ever seen an Abathur get last righted by a Malthiel. That's actually a first for me.
Oh, feels bad, man. Grendel saying in chat that he thought he finished the channel. So that's a 10-point swing because he didn't finish it. Yikes. Well, I guess it would only be 8 because we 3 one way, 5 the other. So it's an 8-shot swing, but still, that's so much that you're already behind and you're giving up. Feels really bad for ReGen Blue.
Especially right now if VMS can put on the big boy pants and cap a boss, or maybe get a kill first and then go for a boss play. The next alter phase is a triple, as we are going to see the root coming out as Diablo's going to flip Mongoose into his own team. Clone does come out. We're going to see the unstoppable Icebound Fortitude Sunder going to come through, split everybody up. The only member falling low is Veggies on the Diablos. We're going to see Sulfurous Smash coming out, hitting one. Twilight Dream big in the front line, getting both of these heroes really far forward. Fake News Nate doing so much damage. Jason actually not falling, getting a lot of self-healing. The swipe does go for the disengage, but Last Rites is going to drop Mongoose. And at the end of the day, Fake News Nate getting another kill, rolling forward, vaulting with the spray and pray of Vala, getting yet another kill. That is a 4-man cleanup with Malthael still top lane.
Fake News Nate, this is real news, bro. Real news. Highlight plays right now for Division B West, and looking like the #1 player on Virtual Murky Slayers. We're heading into a triple altar phase. 4 heroes currently dead from ReGen Blue, so GG's thrown in the chat. I don't think there's much left that they can get here to do. Just the Abathur on the map with some mines. So that's going to be it. Game #2 going to be handed over to the Virtual Murky Slayers.
No BM meal from Abathur, as that is going to be GG. 36-0 core health. Fantastic game and map pressure from VMS.
So we came to the match tonight expecting the Virtual Murky Slayers to look like a first place team. But tonight, in my opinion, we saw a team that completely outclassed their opponent, looking like they should be up in the heroic division. Virtual Murky Slayers remain undefeated now, 8-0 map record early here in Season 6. What can stop this team, Btrain?
Well, hopefully if it's not a virtual Murky, it'll be a real one, just going through and chewing all the cables on their computers and keyboards.
I want to try to reach out to Fake News Nate and get him in for an interview. What an outstanding player, and I definitely want to get a bit of his input on what happened there in those games. Played our Zeratul game 1, played our Vala game 2, and in my opinion, Btrain, tell me if you agree or not, MVP for sure.
Yeah, I think so. Being able to control the solo lane, getting a couple solo kills with the Zeratul game 1, and then vaulting around on Vala with the multi-shot build, just Doing work, just cleaning house. When I thought that Vala was going to be the weak link, it actually looked to be the pillar of success for their comp.
All right, Btrain, you want to join me over in NGS lobby for this interview?
I will be there.
Hey, Nate, that's you, right?
Yeah, that's me.
Hey, how's it going? Congrats on the win tonight. Virtual Murky Slayer is remaining undefeated and unblemished in the map record. How's it feel being so dominant in Division B West? What can stop you guys? Just start us off with that.
Oh, it feels good. I guess. No, it feels good. We've been practicing a fair amount, so it's fun to have it succeed. And yeah, I feel like we've been drafting pretty well, so that helps. Maybe I feel like people will draft a little different later on, and that might be hard, depending.
Quick.
Yo, what's up? Swagner is in here, by the way.
Oh, hey, Swagner is joining. Quick thanks in chat, Kelladorn, for the 5 bits. Requesting round 3. Unfortunately, won't be able to bring that to you tonight. But hey, we have now 2 players here. We got, of course, first joining us was Fake News Nate, now joining Swagneros. Tell us a bit about the role swaps that happened between games 1 and 2, because it looked like you guys brought a completely different roster in terms of roles. Is this something you guys want to do often, just get on heroes specifically, or is there something more that we're not seeing?
We picked the ETC game 1 because we had seen that they played a lot of ETC. Okay. So we wanted to tank choke them, and then I don't usually tank. It's either veggies or a brew or 2 on tank, but I play a little bit of everything.
Okay, so it's more just a comfort issue of why the role swaps happened heading into game 2.
Yeah. We kind of just do whatever a lot of times on the roles. Like I usually play assassin. Sure. Is kind of the only consistent one a lot of times, but lately I've been playing Ana too, so it's like it's hard to say.
Well, they focused an Ana ban on you guys, and it allows you to hop on a Zeratul game 1, and you had so many pieces to pair with it. The Ragnaros Sulfura Smash, which was impeccable, most notably the final kills there at the end. You had the Dragon's Arrow on the Roots or Malfurion as well, and most notably the ETC with that mosh pit. Is this the strategy you want, is getting the VP and making that a top priority, or is it just so happen you're one hell of a Zeratul player?
Well, it definitely makes a lot of other heroes better. So it's might as well. I think I'm happy to play Zeratul whenever, most people know. But we also happen to make it really easy for me. Like, a lot of those fights I jump in, I queue 2 people, and then I'd normally like wormhole out and then come back and queue again later with Vorpal, but I just don't have to. I can just VP and we have Smash, and then it's really good. So, yeah.
So Swagneros, I think you were on, correct me if I'm wrong, was it the support in game 1, or was it it was the ETC, right?
I was ETC in game 1, and then I was Melthael game 2.
So with the ETC, we're on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Why such an early pick on ETC? Are you guys a fan of him right now, instead of going for something like we've seen a lot of Garrosh's lately, even some other stuff come out? I mean, I've seen main tank Imperius come out, but it's ETC, a tank that kind of hasn't been around too much for a while, but he's never really changed too much. What is it about ETC that you can remind players why to pick them in their drafts?
Well, I'm not very good, and ETC is very easy to play.
Great answer.
So if your tanking is mediocre and you want to feel like a god when you hit those dank moshes, just play ETC.
Hey, and that's exactly the advice some players need, so I like it. Btrain, you got anything on game number 1 you want to ask these two?
I just, like, obviously we talked about the VP being such an instrumental tool in allowing other heroes to have an easier time hitting things, and we thought it was going to be like a Jaina pickup, and then we saw it banned, but you guys had by that point already committed to the Ragnaros, and Ragnaros is one of those heroes who pretty much doesn't get played ever anymore, and when I see it, it's usually Lava Wave, and on a map like Tomb, I highly expected it, but Sulfurous Smash gave so much value to you guys. And then, obviously, without the VP in game number 2, which I understand we're getting to, I have a whole revolving point here. Is that like, obviously, I don't want to have strats against you guys for other people to see, but you picked up both games, it looked phenomenal, and Sulfurous Smash was insane. Is that just like a really comfort pick for a brewer too, or is that, something that you guys have all developed around kind of as a team?
He's good at Rag. Well, Arrogant Nephilim's been playing a lot of Rag for quite a while. And we sort of stole it against them in game 1 of our last match, and I think Rag is pretty good right now. Maybe that's not a very good answer.
It's not too revealing of an answer, but I think the point is Rag's not as bad as some people might think. There was at least one play in there. The Molten Core was as good as it gets, and you guys ended up with a few different.
A Brewer 2 doesn't play any. A Brewer 2 doesn't play any real heroes anymore. So you gotta. whatever.
He's Murky too.
Well, I'm the Murky, but he's all the other garbage specialists.
He's the Chen. Oh my god.
Yes.
Hey, wait. Btrain's here. You can't knock on Chen.
Can't knock Chen. Chen's OP.
Oh man. Okay, you guys could go hang out in Chen land over there.
He is the second best panda in the game.
He's the first best, hands
true.
down.
Hey. No panda hate. We don't need to call PETA. Let's talk about game 2, Towers of Doom, a map you guys brought us to. What is the confidence here about Towers of Doom? It looked like you guys were confident, to say the least. You destroyed your opponents, but what is it about the map that makes you want to pick it? Is it just more comfortability in the late game because it's such a late game focused map, or like what is it about the map you like?
Well, we're kind of stupid sometimes, so it's nice to have the ability to come back later. Like if we do make a couple bad decisions or get a draft which is only good in the late game, then we don't have to. It's a little less pressure. You can get ahead early, but you can always come back on that map. So exactly. I think we've had success for that reason sometimes on that map.
So
and we occasionally pick 5 specialists, so it works out.
God.
Yeah,
that
was fun. We did do that in the last season. Maybe we'll bring it back.
Well, you made it through tonight without picking a specialist, and you had to go up against one in game 2. Abathur was a selection. Were you guys scared at all? A quick early first pick on it, but you guys responded with the Diablo mouthfeel, and it seemed like from there you just didn't even care about the Abathur at all. But was it a thought during the draft?
Yeah. Abathur is pretty strong on that map, and if you don't have a good lane presence, it's really difficult sometimes, I think.
That's why I went on a pale horse, so I could just rotate between top and mid. I'm never going to win a solo against a Thrall with a hat on or a Rainer.
Yeah, so we definitely decided that we'd take care of the macro in a good way, and then also like a Vala pick makes them respond to you in lane a lot, so it makes the Abathur less successful oftentimes, I think.
Yeah, and you were able to play very aggressive on the Vala. They couldn't really step up into your face, and your disengage was there. I don't think you fell. No, you had 0 deaths in the game, and that's all you can ask for out of your Vala players, so well done. Btrain, anything game 2 that you wanted to touch on before we head on out here?
Not really. Game 2 was absolutely phenomenal. You guys played one heck of a game, and you didn't even need that late game comeback that you set yourself up for. You got it done early.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I play kind of a suicidal Vala, but I happened to rein it in a little bit this game. Or at least my suicides worked out.
Ended the game 5 kills, 7 assists, 0 deaths. Led the game in hero damage. Definitely fake news, Nate. You were our MVP of the evening. Congratulations to you. Definitely don't want to hold anything under for Swagneros. You played fantastically as well. You guys led your team to 3 more points in the standings, so really well done. Before I let you go, though, I want to give you opportunity for shout-outs, so I guess we'll start with Nate if you want to go.
Oh, thanks for casting. It's really nice. It makes the community really fun to be in. And shout out to our opponents. Thanks for the match, and maybe see you in the playoffs. Yeah, and I could shout out my team, but like, you know, I don't know. I could just talk to him later, so it's all good.
And Swagneros, you got anything for us?
I would like to thank the newest member of our team, eBag, for basically carrying us and playing everything, but always begrudgingly playing Malfurion when we need him.
Very
Yeah,
solid
actually-
play. I see eBag in chat, so shout out to you there. I see you hanging out. Do you have one more thing?
Oh, no, I agreed with the last thing Swagner said. Definitely makes our drafts way easier.
Well, again, huge congratulations to you guys and your entire team. Looking forward to see what you guys are going to do. And I think you're only maybe a couple more points from securing a playoff berth. Of course, the top 8 make it, and you guys are sitting well in the lead right now. So keep it up, and excited to see how you guys close out this season.
Thanks.
All right, Twitch, so that's going to do it for us. Gotta say, first, thanks to my co-caster, Btrain, for hanging out tonight. Let them know what you have going on, because I know there's a whole lot in the works for you. So break it down, Btrain.
Yeah, absolutely. First off, thanks for having me. Thanks for such actually a great game. The pickup last minute was pretty fun, even though I didn't get my upgraded equipment today. You guys can all find me at Btrain704. That's Twitch, eBay, Tinder, MySpace, Facebook. It's everything. Look for me. I'll also be casting this Friday and Saturday, both Division S games that will be from Heroes Lounge. I'll have more to update on that, so you can look for it in the announcement channel or something like that on NGS. And last but not least, I will be casting, hopefully soon, there'll be some news release, but you guys might even see me on one of these showdown nights coming up. So keep your ears and eyes peeled for some spicy Btrain Rap God casting.
Yeah, I do want to correct. Division S, it's brought to you by Heroes Lounge and Nexus Gaming Series. We are very proud to be partnered with Heroes Lounge to bring you Division S. So that's going to be over. I think you said you're on the twitch.tv/Nexus Gaming Series for both matches?
I think I am. I can clarify that with Jason and the Heroes Lounge crew, and I'll be able to put that out.
Awesome. So keep an eye out for that. That's going to be coming to you guys. For me personally, you're going to find me over on Twitter at MurdaRG. Of course, you're on Twitch, MurdaRG, YouTube, the same. But I have to tell you, I'm not going to be here for the remainder of the week. I leave on Wednesday. I'm going to the Bahamas for a vacation. So you're not going to have any Murda action for at least 7 days. My deepest apologies to you guys. I know you've come to expect me to be here as often as possible. But I promise you, when I get back, there will be more NGS action. There will be Division S action. And we're going to be pretty close to playoffs before we know it. So hang in there, NGS fans. A lot more to come. And I'm excited to be bringing you some of these casts with Btrain. It's been a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. And I'll try to hold the fort down while you're gone, having your vacation and having a lot of fun.
All right, man. I appreciate it. You guys in Twitch land, thank you for the subs, follows, and cheers tonight. Until next time, I'm Murda. That was Btrain. And the winners of tonight were the virtual Murky Slayers. We'll see you guys in the Nexus.